Okay, it's session 5 of World of Dungeons Ravenloft. We have a couple of housekeeping things to take care of first. So, for the players who were not here for session 4, basically what happened was the player characters who were there fought Madame Ava, who was taken over the witch that was after Polly. They managed to exorcise the witch from Madame Ava and save her. And the Vistani kind of helped them a little bit on their way forward. We had said that the characters who were not there slipped out of the tent as Madame Ava was going crazy and grabbed Irina and then left somewhere. My love letter explains what happened, but at the time we didn't know exactly what was going to be happening. The party eventually made their way to there was a black horse-drawn carriage waiting for them. They got in the carriage and took it up to Castle Ravenloft. There was a quite extended moment of the party not wanting to just walk through the front door because there were some statues of some red dragon statues that they just knew were going to attack them or something. They had it almost right. The way it works, if you go in, you're good. But if you try to leave, the statues animate and attack you. They tried to find some alternate ways in. That didn't go so great. And at one point, Polly was desperately clutching for his life off a 1,000-foot drop cliff. So, in any case, they eventually made their way in. Had an encounter with Count Strahd. Encountered Count Strahd almost immediately, in fact, in the dining room. He was playing an organ, kind of taunting them a little bit. Eventually, we discovered that it was an illusion. And they pressed forward, searching different areas of the castle. They encountered what I thought was the best encounter of the evening. They encountered a ghost, a woman who was waiting for her groom for her wedding. Like, they found a dilapidated wedding cake and then the dead bride, and had to kind of basically convince her that she wasn't getting married that day, essentially, and that her lost love is lost. It was a good encounter. I think somebody had to kiss her too. Yeah, pretty sure that happened. Ultimately, and they also made it to Strahd's throne room, where it turns out that's where the little doll that Polly's been looking for is at. It's in a bunch of cobwebs up on the ceiling. There's a big giant spider there. Strahd came back and they kind of ran away. They ran away to a big comfy study where we see a painting of a woman who looks just like Irina and 2 wingback chairs. And they carefully approached those 2 wingback chairs, and who was sitting in the chairs but our 2 characters who were not with them for that part of the adventure. Ivor, I've already forgotten names. And hold on, let me get your guys' names. Ivor and Stosh were there, just waiting for them to appear, and they did, and that's where we cut the session. So we've got a couple of things to consider before we proceed tonight. First big consideration is I kind of thought you guys were going to get to the castle a little earlier in these 5 sessions, and so we're not going to be able to do I'm not sure what the utility is in continuing to just do dungeon crawl for this session. And I'm not sure we'll be able to get to any kind of satisfying narrative conclusion, because to explore the whole dungeon is at least another 2 to 3 sessions, I think, to go through all of it, if that's what you want to do. Second thing we have to sort out is what were the other characters up to. I've got a plan for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to work through these love letters. It's a single love letter in 3 parts. It's a dangerous love letter. We will work through those for the 2 characters who are coming back, and we'll take a break at that point. And based off how the love letter went, that'll kind of affect my thinking for what comes up next. I'll sort of incorporate some of that stuff into what happens next. And then We'll come back and have an out of character conversation about like what we want to try to accomplish um, for the remainder of the session. You want to go fight and kill Strahd? Awesome. You want to go try to find Gertruda? Awesome. If you want to go find the Sun Sword, if you haven't already found it in the love letter, awesome, and so forth. So, anybody have any questions about any of that? I know it was a lot to say, but right. In that case, let's read through this love letter. I better get a roll for your party out too. 1 second. Here we go. Actually, liberal hippo. He listens to Fox News. That's just a cover. He's actually hippo. All right. There's your roll for your party room, and sweet. This is for both you guys. You will both make these rolls. There's just 2 of you, right? It's just Richard and Matt who were gone last time, right? Okay, cool. So here we go. Let's read through the love letters. Just before Madame Ava's body was taken over by the witch, she secretly whispered the location of a secret entrance to Castle Ravenloft. She urged you to take Irina and go through the secret entrance while your friends distracted Strahd by going through the front. So while Strahd was wondering when they were going to walk through the main foyer with the 4 red dragons, you guys were were racing up from below. I'm imagining what this looked like on screen is like when she's doing all of her weird little like veil removals and all that stuff. I'm imagining a sort of like an illusion or some kind of like little sort of waking dream space where she kind of like whispered to you like this stuff, right? That nobody else could see it but the 2 of you. And so, yeah. The secret entrance led to the crypts beneath the castle. While exploring the crypts, you had your eyes open for something. Ivor and Stash, what were you looking for in the crypts? It can be anything you want.
I think what Stash was definitely looking for was the like the legendary lance that he'd been told of. Just
the sun lance.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. I said sun sword earlier because there actually is a sun sword in the module.
Okay.
It's like a big like quest item. So I didn't know if that was just like happenstance and like when you defined it as a sun lance. But fantastic, looking for the sun lance. I love it. What about you, Ivor?
Ivor was looking for the method that Strahd used to turn living people into demons. So he was in the crypt looking for how he bound their bodies to sort of bind their spirits as well.
Also, while exploring the crypts, you encountered a number of skeletons and zombies. Describe how you held them at bay, and then roll plus stat. What do you think, Stash?
Skeletons and zombies seems pretty straightforward. I'm thinking it was more of a melee with Stash.
Okay, go ahead and roll plus strength. What about you, Ivor?
Ivor is a muscle mage. He punches hard. So I think he was definitely using rope and maybe some nets to these clumsy creatures, kind of push them back, keep them at bay, so that he could get down and sort of read what actually was going on from the crypts and see if he could discern anything.
I'll take that as strength too, I think.
Okay.
Good. Just call out your numbers when you got them.
That is a 10.
Nice. How'd you do, Stash?
I give an 8.
8. All right, let's read the love letter. On a 10 plus, you escaped the creatures or found what you were looking for. If you found what you're looking for, you're going to choose one from the list. On a 7 to 9, you escaped the creatures or found something useful, but not necessarily what you were looking for. If you found something useful, choose 2 from the list.
I think for Stash, definitely he's going to escape the creatures.
Okay.
And as far as finding something, I kind of want him to have found something that he believes was this sun lance, but it's the whole myth is just a load of garbage. So whatever it is, it like, if let's say he finds something that looks like it's just like gleaming, and it just like turns to ash in his hands as soon as he reaches for it.
Oh, nice. So you're taking escape the creatures and almost found something useful.
Yeah.
I love it. What about you? You're muted, Richard.
I think, yeah. Sorry, I was choosing. I think he recognized one of the undead as being one of his spirits that serve him. Something about the face, so that the soul was trapped in hell as a demon, but the body was still repurposed as a zombie.
Nice. I love it. It's good.
So I definitely found out how Strahd was binding people to turn them into demons.
Okay, awesome.
Or some clue towards that. Yeah.
If you want to think of what that method is on the break, I'm totally open to it. So
great. Okay.
You can fill that in, and you have a -1 forward on the next roll.
Right.
So you then move to the administrative floor of the castle, the so-called Larders of Ill Omen. That is literally what it's called in the module. It's called the Larders of Ill Omen, which is kind of amazing. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Larders of Ill Omen. What did you hope to find while ruffling through stacks of old papers and cupboards? It's for both of you.
I think I wanted to find the mortal names of my 2 demons before they died.
Really good. Great. Love it. What about you, Stash?
Maybe on a more practical note, Stash is looking for maybe some sort of map or layout of just nice. The entire castle.
That is fantastic. Go ahead and okay. Well, so anyway, continuing on, you also encountered a shadow demon. The shadow demon took the form of the thing you fear most in this world. What form did it take?
I think for Stash, maybe it wasn't so much like one specific thing, but maybe it was almost like a hallucination or some sort of dream or something like that, where he sees like just the village he's from, just like overcome with like a pestilence, just a horrible wasting disease, and just like everyone he knows and cares for just falling ill, and he can't do anything about it.
Nice, I love it. What about you, Ivor?
The old priest that Ivor assisted to killing inadvertently. Or actually, no, Goro. I think it looks like Goro. Since I blame myself for Goro's death, justifiably. It looks like Goro.
Sweet. How'd you guys hold the shadow demon at bay?
I'm thinking just force of will, just like sheer disbelieving. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, no, I'll take that as it. And what about you, Ivor?
I think I tried to use my warding ritual to keep it within a circle or within a specific room or space that I could put warding sigils over.
That sounds like Ant also. Go for it. And you have a -1, Ivor.
Mm-hmm. It's a total of 7.
Nice. You have to choose one from the list.
Yeah. If it's okay with Stash, I think Irina was taken over.
Sure.
What was your result, Stash, on the roll?
I also had a 7.
Okay, what do you choose?
Well, I assume I can't also choose Irina was taken over. So
you can. I'll just make her extra powerful. Extra powerful. She'll be extra powerful and aggressive.
Wow, that's scary. I think I'll have lost something during the scuffle. Okay. Like at a certain point, I realize I just freak out and start running and drop something.
Awesome. I will tell you what you lost when we get back. And Arena was taken over. Fantastic. Love that. Okay. You then move to the main floor where you explore the chapel of Castle Ravenloft. There you did battle with a trio of Strahd's vampire brides. You held them at bay and then roll plus stat.
I think Stash probably went at these vampires with like a torch in each hand. Yeah, potentially lighting something else on fire in the room too.
Nice, I like that. I will make that a con roll. And what about you, Ivor?
Ivor sort of did the wielding the double daggers thing and tried to look impressive while stabbing lots of vampires.
Nice, we'll make that a strength.
Ooh, that's a 12.
Nice. You hold them at bay and discover a valuable treasure.
That's crazy. I also rolled a 12.
Okay, 2 valuable treasures on the board. Fantastic. So I owe you 2 valuable treasures. Let me make a note of that. That'll be really easy because there's already stuff in the room. I just have to pick it off the module. And then after that, you guys made your way up. I think you go up maybe 1 more floor, I think, or maybe 2 floors to where the I think it's called like the Weeping Rooms or something like that. That's the name of the floor. That's where the study is. And you were both there pensively looking at this painting that looks like Arena, thinking about how she was taken over by a shadow demon and is hot on your trail. And then these guys walk in and now you're all together. So that was a mini dungeon run, mini dungeon crawl, 15-minute dungeon crawl. We're going to take a break because I need to think about some of this stuff and make some decisions. But I would like for all of you guys to think out of character on the break, just in terms of like what you'd like to see happen. Not necessarily what your characters want to happen, but like what you think would be a cool way of wrapping this up. I don't want us to get bogged down in just going room to room doing stuff. I want to kind of rush straight up to cool shit. So think about that. It doesn't mean we're going to do it, but I just want to hear your thoughts on it. And then no matter what, you guys will get to epilogue after it's over. So just to kind of, if you have any loose story threads you want to tie up, you can do it in the epilogue. So let's take 10 and then come back, okay? All right. Guess we're just waiting on that. Give him a minute. Oh, there he is. Okay, cool. So let me resolve the love letter stuff really quick. What was the method of that he uses to turn living people into or how, to bind living people's spirits and turn them into to demons?
I think it's very similar to, if you don't want somebody to rise as a vampire, sort of pierce their heart with wood. But at this time, it's you pierce it with something dipped in gold.
Okay, nice.
So it actually involves kind of piercing the heart.
Okay, nice. So you pierce the heart with gold, and then you're able to sort of like summon their spirit, or to command their spirit. I like that. That's really good. Just make a note on your character sheet. That'll just be like make a note on your character sheet, maybe like where you put your summons, just like that. Okay. That's a new way you can summon like spirits. You might only be able to bind them for a short period of time, and it might be kind of a one shot per spirit kind of thing. But if you got yourself some gold, you can do that. I love it. That's fantastic. Who was the person who lost something during the scuffle with Shadow Demon? Was that Ivor?
No, it was Stash.
It was Stash, okay. Stash, you don't really have any good shit.
I have a lot of stuff, though.
You do have a lot, but it's like a pole, a mirror. That's no good.
I mean, I had those...
the ghost-killing arrows, yeah. It's tempting. I wanted to see them in action, but... you're a little or like a little distant, too, in your audio. I don't know if your thing's not flipped down, that's why, okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna say you lose your silver stake.
All right.
And fantastic. And you both discovered valuable treasures. Okay, so you did find your sun lance in the chapel. It was basically kind of like lying in state on the altar space. It was there. You got a distinct impression that this space was, until Vampire Brides entered it anyway, it was a pretty sanctified space that Strahd himself didn't go in here very often. And there's a great reason for that, because that lance is there, but also what you found, Ivor, was it's called a holy symbol of Ravenkind.
Okay.
And it's only of use to people who can turn the undead, but you did find it, and basically it makes turning undead. So, okay, descriptions for those two. Kind of read them off here. Maybe. Where did that go? I'll find the descriptions later. Just make a note in your notes for now. We'll deal with it later. The first time you use it, pull it out. Fantastic. Okay, so let's have this. Let's have this out of character conversation. What do you guys think for the remainder of this session? What is looking good in terms of what you think you might want to go do? What you think your characters want to go do? The arena situation. That's, who knows what's going to happen with that, right? She might be lost forever. You may have to do battle with her to free her from the Shadow Demon. Who knows? That's my thinking on that part of the mission. But the rest of it, I'm pretty open to. So.
I think no one's safe as long as Strahd's around.
killing Strahd. You know where he's at, so you have that advantage.
Yeah, now that I know what he's up to, I want to kill him.
It's 2 votes for killing Strahd. Fantastic. What does the rest of the group say?
Yeah, I mean, I think some sort of showdown with him makes sense for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not against a showdown with Strahd, but I'd also like to see, see with our own eyes what he's doing with all of these people that he's attracting here.
Yeah.
Like he's not just bringing. We kind of know why he's bringing Irina here, but there's all these other people. Like he called us here, and we just want to kill him. He must have a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really just want to take down Strahd.
Okay. Votes for Strahd. Votes for seeing what he's doing here. That sounds pretty good to me.
If we can't kill him, if we could figure out some way to pull this place down around him and entomb him.
Oh, like to pull the castle down. That could be really interesting, actually. That's an intriguing idea. I'm open to that as an idea as well. Could be kind of fun.
Next Wednesday Time Machine will be the basement of Castle Ravenloft. All that's left.
Exactly. You just kick to the part that you can get to. Because I think there actually might be a pretty good answer for that, for like how you bring down the whole castle. Yeah, interesting. Okay, that's a cool idea. Any other ideas? Okie doke. Yeah, okay. So let's go with let's just have the scene. So basically you are all together in this study. There's a fire lit. There are there are books on shelves. There's this big painting of a woman that looks like Irina, but she's dressed differently. It's clearly she looks like her, but like it's not the same person, right? There's details that make you think it's someone different. Mostly like period details. She looks like she's dressed from like another era, right? And Ivor and Stash turn to face you all, and you're all together. The 5 of you having basically kind of pincher clawed your way through the castle, like the 3 of you coming through the front and up, and then like the other 2 coming from below, right? And now you are here. You know where Strahd is. You know that into Irina, and you found your lance, and you found this holy symbol. This really like it's a holy symbol that's like a stylized sun, and also probably sacred to your cult, Stash, as well. So yeah, have that scene, and then we'll kind of pick. I'll interrupt, or we can just pick it up whenever you guys are ready to head out and do something. Oh, and also for the 2 characters who did the love letter, you guys get 250 XP. So.
Along those lines, some of us got up to 3rd level last time, but we don't actually take that until we rest, correct?
Yeah.
Damn you. All right, well, Polly was sneaking around the room, seeing you guys seen someone in the chairs, and he sneaks around through the shadows and suddenly realizes it's you guys. And without pausing for a moment to see if it's really you or some sort of apparition or zombie, he runs to you and welcomes you back. And Stashi, he hugs you. We thought you were gone.
Well, I mean, we very nearly were. Stosh is kind of like looking a little sheepish. I mean, he definitely hugs Polly back, but he's looking a little sheepish and just kind of he's not really meeting anyone's gaze. Yeah, just definitely some regret about how they lost Irina, but he's not really talking much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Sorry. Go. Ivor greets Polly, just kind of, kind of with a smile, but can't say much. But then looks around for Mary, and takes out the holy symbol and extends it towards her.
And what is this?
We found this in the chapel. It was being defended by Strahd's brides.
I think I've heard of such things. They're invested with power against the undead.
I can do nothing with this, but you might be able to.
Of course. We may need it before this cursed night is done. But tell me, there were 3 of you that left Madame Ava's tent. And I see only 2. What has happened to Irina?
She was seized by a demon.
When you say seized, you mean slain?
No. I look over at Stosh, but because I'm having trouble continuing talking.
It was it was confusing. I wasn't even. I don't know where I was. I saw visions, and it was as if I was in a waking nightmare, and I ran, and when I came to, Irina was gone, and it was just me and Ivor.
Unbelievable. You go off on your own, you leave the rest of us behind who could have helped you, and you are so weak of mind that you let a demon take over our companion. And listen, Goro, these are the friends that you left me with? Unbelievable. What made you think you could challenge Strahd?
Mary, quiet. Don't attract Strahd.
Yes, of course. He still hunts us.
Gotta let go of Goro. Just as we have to let go of Irina. And I look up at the picture of Irina.
Irina is still alive. She's only possessed.
Just outside the hall, or just outside the room, or whatever. I think it's like I can't remember what that was on the map. It's irrelevant at this point. But just outside the door, you hear Irina. She says, "Hello. Where have you gone to? Is anyone in there?"
Do I have a quick moment to hand some stuff off to Polly?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Kurash, I think you're closest to the door. What do you?
I've been watching this whole exchange go down, and I turn to the group, and I think Irina's here. She's just on the other side of the door, it sounds like.
Kurash, don't open that door.
I'm not planning on it, but she may be coming in any second now.
We should brace that.
Yeah,
is there a latch? Can it be locked?
Yes, and there's also you could put if you're really scared of this situation, you can push some furniture up against it too, I suppose. But...
Yeah, I'll throw like a couch in the way and lock the door. Kind of give us time to brace.
Hello, Kurash, is that you? Let me in, please.
I'm ignoring her.
Yeah, I think I go up to the door and I I have an iron spike, and I'm just gonna kind of like hammer it into the door to try and wedge it closed. And then just quickly kind of toss my bow and the ghost arrows to Polly, and say, "Here, I think you can probably do more good with these than I can."
I suppose I should have asked this question before I started encouraging people to barricade the door. Is there another exit to this room?
No. You guys might be stuck here for a minute. She says, well, we can look at the map. There might be. Let's be fair. Let's look at the map. I think that was like K37, right? Pretty sure it is.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's K37.
Yeah, because K36 was the wedding cake room.
Yeah.
Is that where she's coming from?
Let's see here. Oh yeah, there are more doors in there. Yeah, you could. She's probably coming from. I think she's coming from, like that northern passage there. So that's the door that you would be sealing up, right? On the map there. That map should be on the folder. So she comes up to the door and she says, you can hear her. She's really close to the door, and she says, "Friends, I don't know what apparition or shade has caused you to have such fear of me, but I assure you, it is me, Irina. I got momentarily separated from Ivor and Stash, and I've found myself here. I wandered up a stair and I heard you. Kurash, please let me in."
I'm gonna look over at Mad Mary, and can you perform another exorcism? I mean, it worked once, ish.
It's true. It depends what type of demon this is. If it's a spirit, surely I'll be able to drive it out. But demons are really the domain of wizards, I believe.
Well, either one of you or Ivor, we should try and get this spirit out of her.
There's a fireplace in the study, and the fire dies instantly, leaving you in the dark.
I try to light a candle.
You can. It's a small light. It's a dim light. Just maybe, 5-6 feet in diameter around Polly. And Polly, as this candlelight flickers over the faces of your companion, casting shadows over them, you begin to see things in the shadows. You begin to see, maybe it's just your imagination, but you begin to see something coming from the corner of the room that you find pretty unnerving. What do you think it is?
Well, it sounds like it's maybe a spirit, a mist coming through a crack in the door and the floorboards, or maybe it's some trick of the light and the shadows starting to congeal and creeping closer.
Mad Mary, are you in there? Mad Mary, can you hear me? I saw your daughter, Gertruda. I saw her. Let me in and I'll show you. I'll take you to her.
I pull out my holy symbol and I'm like, "Back, demon. I will not listen to your lies."
So then truly, we are not to be friends anymore. Have you gone so crazed with fear that you're scared of me? I am the victim of Strahd here. I'm the one he wants, not you.
Irina, why are you in this painting? Why are you looking at us?
And I think she just goes quiet. What do you do?
Do I still see things coming out of the corners of the room?
It was just your eyes played a trick on you.
I look at Ivor. Why do you think Irina's in this painting? I take the candle over and shine it up so that we can all get a closer look at the painting.
I'd like to study the painting pretty.
Yeah. I mean, there's really nothing to. I mean, the thing that will be very obvious is that
Right.
Strahd must think that Irina is. He said that to the other. Like he said that out loud to the other group. Like something about being reunited with his lost love. Right. Last session. So you guys can put two and two together. He definitely believes that Irina is the reincarnation of this woman, if not that woman herself. So.
I mean, I assume it would not be unheard of to. I explained to Polly that it's just like it might be a lost ancestor. This woman.
Could she really be Strahd's love from reincarnated or
Sure, that's just a mistake. Strahd is mad. He sees the resemblance we see and presumes.
I'm going to roll the die of fate.
Okay.
It's a 6. At a certain point, the fireplace lights itself again, casting a nice warm glow across the room. You can see better. You don't hear Irina anymore coming from the other side. And yeah, everything's just kind of back to normal.
When things seem back to normal, I'll go creep over to the door and try to listen to make sure she's not out there, and look at the other doors.
Yeah, give me a roll plus wisdom.
Seven.
She's gone.
I think it's safe.
Before we go
here,
before we go charging out there, we need to be more prepared. It's pretty obvious she's hunting us here. Ivor, how do you take care of a shadow demon? Like, how do we fight this thing, and how do we free her from it?
I have no idea how to free her from it. Perhaps if we had time, we could do something to try to trap the shadow demon inside some sort of protective circle and then pull her out. But I have no ability to command shadow demons.
So then we would just leave it trapped here. Is that right?
Surely there would be a way to do an exorcism.
Perhaps if it were trapped in a binding circle, as you say, we could exorcise it somehow, perhaps burn the room, burn the castle.
That would destroy the circle and the person inside of it.
I thought you said we could pull her out and leave the demon within.
Perhaps that would be me just speculating.
Wildly. Do you want to roll plus int to see what you know?
Yeah.
Go for it.
That is a 13.
Whoa.
Wow. This shadow demon plays on your fears, and it will be it plays on your fears, and it will be drawn to any creature or any person who is it'll be drawn to somebody who has the best fears, the most delicious terrors, right? That's what it will want. But figuring out whether that's you will depend getting in the room with it. Right? You'll have to get in the room with it and kind of see how it goes.
Right.
But
I think I share that.
But if you can, draw it away, then absolutely. With a 12 plus, you even get a bonus. I will tell you that so long as you are sharing your fears, sharing the terrors of your past, whether it be from childhood or recent past, you will hold the creature in thrall and it will not be any harm to you.
So I share all that.
How do you know that, incidentally?
I think maybe I tried to get a shadow demon pact at one point in time. And it consumed not only my fears, but my memory of those fears.
Interesting.
So all the memories, all the good memories that went with those fears, are gone.
Interesting. Yeah. So if you get Arena into the room with you, and then you basically just begin sharing your stories, that will get the shadow demon's attention, and you might even get the shadow demon's attention enough for it to try to possess you instead of her.
Or it may be drawn to another spirit that represents fear. It feeds on fear. It may be drawn to another spirit that represents fear.
It certainly seems that the shadow demon made a big mistake in possessing Irina. If Strahd himself is so determined to get Irina, Strahd will not take kindly to her being possessed, I'd imagine.
But the shadow demon may be eating away all of Irina's memories of Strahd haunting her.
Mm-hmm.
That would make her uniquely vulnerable to Strahd, wouldn't it? So, Stosh, what do you think about all of this?
A lot of it is kind of over Stosh's head. He's more of occupies more the physical world for the most part.
Let's talk about your lance.
Yeah.
The lance is actually made of a it actually looks like it's made out of like crystal or glass. It has a crystalline handle, kind of banded with gold, and the guard is kind of banded with gold as well. But the actual like lance part of it is like this shaft of like crystal, and it catches the light in a really brilliant way. Right? this is a very, very powerful weapon against the undead. And you have a huge advantage by having this in your possession, right? Yeah, especially combined with the symbol that was given to Mary. Those two things combined would be quite a powerful duo of weapons against Strahd if you decide to go face down Strahd. So I pose the question to you all again. Where do you go?
So it seems like we have the means to fight Strahd. We know where he is.
We do know where he is. Yep.
I mean, just maybe a way to free Irina from this demon is to kill the creature that is the master holding the demon's chain, and maybe the demon will go away and we will purify this castle and she'll be free of its influence. And worst case scenario, that doesn't happen, but we no longer have Strahd breathing down our necks.
That is true.
It's a little bit of a crude plan, but it doesn't sound ineffective.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that Stash can get on board with.
If you're the demon will not. Yeah. If you're the demon will not leave Irina quite so easily, but it would be good not to have Strahd to worry about while we fight with it.
At a certain point, you hear someone come up to the door. And I actually need to check my notes real quick because I need a name. I know who he is in the module, but I don't have the name handy. Give me just like 1 minute. The PDF of this module is super irritating because it's an older PDF, and so it's not searchable by text.
Oh no!
Yeah, which is really annoying. So normally I would just like type in the keyword that gets me close to what I need, but that does not work on this one. So you have to just like scroll. Here we go. So someone approaches the door. You hear their footsteps, and you hear a little tentative knock. Master, are you there? I was hoping that we could go over the accounts. You said you would make time tonight to do that. I've done everything. I've prepared the books. I've gone through all the taxes recently collected, and I've updated the ledgers, and I have many interesting things to talk to you about, Master. And I are you there, sir? Are you there?
I hold up a finger to my lips and I pantomime opening the door, and then I pantomime grabbing him and I point at Stash and Igor.
Nice.
And then I put my hand on the knob.
Right. Attempt to grab the accountant. I love it. That's not going to be hard. He's no danger. Just describe what it looks like.
Yeah, as soon as if they cooperate and move up next to the door, I yank it open, and he looks very flustered for a moment, and then they grab him by the front of his shirt and drag him in and put a hand over his mouth so that he can't cry out.
Right. Yeah. Good. So he's there, and he is a I'm gonna mute whoever's that is in the background. He is he is like a very just a small, like kind of reedy, balding little guy, right? Wearing like just a simple black tunic and pants, and he's just there, and you're holding him, and he just looks like really terrified, like he doesn't know what's going on, and you have your hand on his mouth, I assume. His eyes are just like wide, like. Who's holding him right now? Stash, is it you?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll be holding him.
He's like,
I'll look over to Mary, just for confirmation. I'll just like glance down at my hand over his mouth and look up to Mary.
Don't cry out, or you'll be dead long before Strahd comes to save you, if he even cares that much.
Then I move my hand away.
he immediately screams, "Master!" you can shush him back up again, but he will immediately begin screaming, "Master!"
All right, so not doing that again. Does he have anything on him?
Let me check. He has a ledger on him, and it's like got entries for like, you know, bushels of grain 0, like, no, like bushels of grain 0, taxes collected 0. Like it's all just like nothing. But he's studiously got every entry he has noted down.
This is all nonsense. Why does Strahd keep these creatures around? Maybe we should just throw him off the top of the castle and be done with it.
He, you know, I wasn't listening too hard when you all were discussing your theories about demons, but perhaps this creature might be a suitable vessel. He certainly seems afraid.
Well, we may have to make him just a little bit more afraid, and I'm gonna step up and pull out the silver stake and hold it over his heart and just be like, you know, I think these work just as well on humans as they do on vampires. Do you want to find out?
Crush.
Roll plus charisma. Let's see how that goes. I want to see what kind of reaction you get from him.
Okay. That's a 9.
Okay. He calms down and he's like, and he kind of like gets really calm and he kind of mutters like, I won't scream. I won't scream.
Yeah, and again, I'll remove my hand from his mouth.
He says, I don't know what you're all doing here. I don't know what your intentions are, but you really ought to go. I mean, you really ought to go. Strahd, Count Strahd, he's a very, very generous man, but he does not like to be slighted. And this is very, very slighting behavior.
What use does a creature like Strahd have for someone like you?
Count Strahd he rules these lands, and like any dutiful lord, he has to keep us employed. He's responsible for our well-being. I am an accountant. I serve him in this capacity, and well, it's true. The accounts are a bit empty as of late. It is also true that this is the very best time to have an accountant, don't you think? To keep track of what we do have.
So I'm going to stand up and take the ledger, and I'm flipping through it. everything's just zeros. And
Mostly, yeah.
yeah.
There's lots of there are entries for like zombie wolves, and those are quite high. Surplus of zombie animals.
I'm gonna slam the ledger shut, toss it into the fireplace, and then I don't believe that you're an accountant. And I'll pull out a knife and kind of nick my finger and see if he's reacting to the blood at all, like maybe interested in it.
No, he's not. He's
Okay.
like, you're mad, you're crazy. Do you know how much? Do you know how many weeks and weeks of work was in that book? He looks at everybody else. Weeks and weeks, I tell you.
I don't know what to do with him. We could just leave him tied up here, take him with us, but that's just going to be a liability. He's going to be screaming whenever he sees one of his master's servants, or let alone his master. So I leave it up to you guys, but if you guys can't come up with an idea, I'm just going to take his head off.
No. I interpose myself between Karash and the accountant. Like I think that leaving him here.
I have a name, you know.
I put my hand very gently on his shoulder. I was just like, not now. I've seen him like this before. We don't have time to take him outside the castle walls, but we can leave him here and hope that Irina doesn't get to him.
Who is Irina?
I gently pat him on the shoulder again, like this is not a good time to try to explain. But there's no reason to kill a person who has not done us any harm.
Yes, that's very wise. You should listen to your
I
friend.
I look at him and just like, would be a good time to let the numbers speak for themselves.
Might I ask, what are you fine gentlemen and lady doing here in Castle Ravenloft? What is your purpose?
Perhaps you should ask your master. It appears he invited us.
Oh. Well, yeah. I'm not certain that Count Strahd knows much of who shows up to his house. I have heard him often remark that it's the castle that invites people, not him as such.
So this whole time while you guys have been talking with this little man, Polly has not been paying any attention at all. He's been kind of walking around the room, putting his arms out, embracing the walls, listening, feeling. The witch, sometimes when we'd go into a wood, she would do rituals that would tell her, she said, where the heart of the wood was, where the power in the wood was. And this castle is so strange to Polly that he started to believe that it is somehow almost alive. And he's trying to do the same sort of thing that she would do, except he's applying it to this architectural thing instead of a
Roll plus
natural
wisdom.
thing. Seven. No, 8.
It's faint, but you feel a heartbeat. A literal heartbeat.
Like coming from the walls.
From the walls.
Do I have any sense of where it is?
You might be able to keep following it, but that would probably provoke another roll. But yeah, you might be able to follow
Right.
it. Especially if one of you guys has tracking, that would be really great. Karash can definitely follow it then.
So when this unknown man said that the castle is what invites people, that's when Polly turns to you and says, "Wait, quiet, listen. Can you hear it? The heartbeat, the pulse of the castle. I can almost feel it. It's all around us." I think the castle's alive, and if we could find its heart.
Do you want me to make a roll for this?
Yes. Yeah, if you do want to try to like track down the heart, by all means, yeah, please roll plus wisdom, I guess. You can't fail, so or miss, I should say.
That's a 9.
9. You will be able to track it, but I'm going to roll the die of fate to see how easily that journey goes. It's a 4. Okay. Yeah, you can track it. As you're putting your hands on the wall, especially if you take your gloves off, you can feel the gentle thump, 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 right? And if you kind of step out of the room a little bit in one direction or another, you can feel it. It's getting a little ever so louder on one side and a little bit quieter on another. So you have a general sense of where it's at. Yeah, if you guys want to track that, you can, by all means.
So again, now we have a direction. Let's take care of this accountant either your way or my way, and
he like clutches you, Ivor, and says, "I prefer his way." Do I get a vote?
We should not harm a human. A person, he's alive. He breathes. He bleeds. He's done nothing to harm us.
Very well, but I have no doubt that he would do us harm were he capable of it.
Well, let's leave him incapable by tying him up.
Does someone have rope?
I do.
Yeah.
Before you do that, I want to rifle through and see if he has any keys.
No. He had his
okay.
He says, "What will you do? What will you do if you find what you're looking for?"
We'll tell you to take it off the ledger. Sorry. I
look at him and say, were you here in this land before Strahd's influence, before the fields went fallow and the peasants started walking in the night?
Barovia has always been a bit of a dreary place. But I'm not from here. No, I'm not from here. And it kind of like says, "I stopped trying to leave a long, long time ago. It's impossible to leave, you know. The mists always get you."
At that, I whip out my knife and put it to his throat. How do you leave the castle?
I have never done so.
I nick him a little bit. I put the knife back in my belt. Tie him up.
As I'm tying him up, I look at him and say, "You've never left the castle? Do you mean the grounds or the castle?"
"I've never left the castle. Count Strahd is a very, very he's a gracious host. I do a lot of work. It's easier just to stay, you know.
You have not been outside in the sunlight in how long?
Uh-huh. And then he's like, he gets a little like kind of like he stares off down away a little bit. Says, sunlight, yeah, sunlight. It has been a very long time. Yes, a very long time. And then he just kind of withdraws a little bit, and his body posture slumps, and he just lets you tie him up.
Make sure you gag his mouth too.
Yeah, I'm going to take a corner of his mouth, his robe, and use it to gag his mouth.
Yeah, that's good. So, following the heart. You're following it along. You're going in a more northerly direction. And you follow it to a tower. You see the entrance to the sort of like spiraling staircase that goes up the tower. You're not quite there yet, but you see it, and it's getting more. It's actually audible at this point. Like you can actually hear it at this point. You can hear the bump, 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 bump coming from the tower, right? And at that point, you hear a voice behind you all. It's Irina, and she says, "Oh, friends, there you are. I've been lost. I was wondering if you had lost your minds, if you had gone crazy. I couldn't understand for the life of me why you would not want to allow me to join up with you again." She comes up to you, Stosh, and clutches your shoulder. She says, I don't blame you for leaving me behind. It was a very scary situation. I think no one would call you or Ivor a coward for abandoning me in that office. Yes, it's true. You were my companions. You were supposed to protect me, and yes, it's true that the terrible creature that we were facing was most distressing, and even the hardiest of men would lose their nerve. But, well, and she turns to the other three of you, I was a little disappointed to find out that my brave companions were not nearly so brave as I'd thought.
What does she look like? Does she appear any different than before?
Plus wisdom. If you have awareness or anything like that, that applies.
So I have an 11.
Nice. As she's saying, like, wow, I thought you were braver than that, you see on her face like a little smile. Your friends don't seem to see the smile. You definitely see the smile. She's like smirking, saying, I thought he was so strong and so brave, but it turns out even mighty Stosh grew weak in the knees at the slightest adversity, at the faintest whiff of the Dark Lord, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess the moment when she, she's addressing me, but then the moment when she kind of turns her attention to the other three, I'll kind of just grapple her and try and take her to the ground.
Nice.
And see if we can restrain her.
Yeah, roll plus strength.
Oh, wow. That's an 11.
Nice.
That's amazing.
All right. Yeah, what does it look like? What do you do?
Yeah, her attention just wavers for a second, and she had her hand on me, and I reach up, grab her by the shoulders, and just kind of slide my leg forward and just push her over my outstretched leg and just go down onto the floor with my hands on her shoulders.
Nice. And she's like struggling. She's like, unhand me. Just truly a coward indeed, laying your hands on a woman like that. What do the rest of you do?
I down a dose of Quicksilver because
Oh.
I want to summon my Spirit of Fear
Nice.
to try to draw the demon out.
That's a good move. Yeah, swallow the Quicksilver and do the roll plus intelligence.
It's a 6.
Great. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, you're each going to describe a harrowing, frightening situation that from either your past, from your past, I think. Something terrifying from your past. I want to know what that is for each of your characters. Everybody except Ivor. All right, let's take a quick break. Just take 2 or 3. Oh, magic.
Never works. Never ever.
The first time,
Except when it
the
does.
rest of the times, it was
You
just
all see, you all see Ivor quaff his vial of quicksilver, shouts a few commanding words, and then you each find yourselves somewhere different. A scene that you're going to describe to me, Mad Mary. What is your scene of terror like?
Yeah, so it's me giving birth to a child in a luxurious room in the abbey, the church abbey, and the child comes out. The nurse, washes it off, shows it to me. It's a boy, and then a man walks in and taps her on the shoulder, and she leaves with the child. And I'm very confused. I keep asking, is he okay? Are you going to bring him back? And then in walks two more big, sort of like robe wearing, heavyset men. And they drag me out of the bed and cast me out onto the street.
Interesting. And they cast you out onto the street, and everybody who walks by, they all just walk by and they just spit on you. They just like spit. They say shame, harlot, Jezebel. Well, it wouldn't be a Jezebel, I guess, but whatever. They spit. They say nasty things to you. They humiliate you. They drag you through the streets. They, I think it's probably a situation where they are like, I think they're probably like dragging you through the mud. They're calling you names. They are, I think they probably like take scissors to your hair. They are just doing all these terrible things. And throughout all of it, you see your adult children, and they're just like watching you. They also seem like really, really ashamed. Like really ashamed that you're their mother, right? Watching off from the side. And that's all going on. Roll plus con for me.
All right. That is a 6.
6. I think it's too much for you. And you are just like blubbering and crying and unable to collect yourself for the rest of the scene. Kurash, where do you find yourself?
So, I a long time ago, I was collecting a bounty in a desert world or region, and this bounty happened to hole up in a series of catacombs down underneath the sands. And so I'm down in the catacombs, and I don't know what happened, but these rotting corpses start coming out of the walls and are crawling towards me and trying to take me down, and I'm trying to fight them back, but I can't, and they're slowly overwhelming me. When they get close enough, I realize that they're the bodies of all the compatriots of the bounty hunting missions I've been on who've died. And so I'm terrified, and I give up fighting them because I can't once I realize who they are, and turn around and flee for the entrance. And when I get to the entrance, there's a grating sound, and this rock is being rolled across it, And, as I'm reaching out and screaming for them to wait, the face that I see rolling the rock across it is my own.
Nice, nice.
And then I'm locked in there with the bodies.
Except I think you might have a chance to escape. Roll plus dexterity.
Okay. That is a 7, I believe. Yeah, 7.
You do. You snap out of this hallucination. You're gonna take a -1 forward for being shaken, but you're otherwise okay. Polly, what about you?
Well, all my life I've been captive of the witch. And the reason that she had me was that she wanted me to develop the ability to see into the future. She wanted my visions. But I couldn't produce for her. And she came up with more and more elaborate schemes to try to force it out of me. She thought it was in my blood to be able to do it. They became worse. There were small animals were involved. And then, to my surprise, we settled down for a few months near a peaceful village. And I was even allowed to play with another young boy in the village. And the witch she made little trinkets and toys and encouraged me to give them to the child. It was a nice, probably some of my best memories, but the way it ended was my worst fear. At one point, she called me aside in the evening and told me that all of those toys were cursed and they would kill the child. Whichever one he played with next would kill them. But unless I could tell her which toy he would play with next, and she would disable the curse on that toy. So she was trying to force me to look into the future and predict what he would do. She wanted my emotions to be involved, and surely my emotions were. I felt that I was responsible for the death of this child. In fact, she made me watch. Of course, I couldn't predict what toy it was, and I saw him cursed and shrivel before my eyes. And that was my one friend. And that's the terrible fear and terror that Polly goes to.
Well, plus con.
Looks like 9 plus 2, 11.
Nice. You shake it off. Yeah, you shake it off. You're sad, but you're otherwise your head's in the game. What about you, Stash?
Yeah, I think I'm back in just this reoccurring nightmare I've had since I was a child, and it stems from, back at the family homestead, my dog's gone missing for a few days, and I turn it up, or I find it, and of course it's dead, and looks like it's been dead for at least a day or so, and I kind of go to pick it up, and when I turn it over, the underside of the dog is just like covered in these flesh-eating beetles. Yeah. So in the dream, this didn't happen in reality, but in the dream, they kind of like just swarm up my arms, and that's when I usually wake up in a cold sweat.
Yeah, roll plus con.
Wow. I rolled a 12, so that's 13.
And here's your bonus. You snap out of it, and I think you're the most like have your wits about you, right? Like you are like your head's in the game. You see Ivor standing there. His eyes are glowing. His head is kind of knocked back, and he's clearly like possessed with something. It's, out of character. We know it's the spirit that he's summoned. And you see Arena still kind of like underneath you, right? Because you were pinning her down, and like rising up out of her mouth, we'll say, there is just this inky black nebulous sort of vaguely human shaped figure rising up out of her mouth, stretching out its hands and fingers, like just like really, really long and stretchy, right? Toward Ivor. Everyone else, Mad Mary is blubbering over there. Kurash seems like Kurash is shaking off whatever is going on, and Polly is okay too, but you are right there. You are right there with the shadow creature. You've got your lance. I mean, you can. What do you do?
Yeah. I mean, I think just the obvious. I grab the lance and I just plunge it into the creature, or attempt to, at least.
Nice. That's going to work no matter what. I'm going to roll for your party to see if it does any damage to your lance. It's a 3. I think basically what happens here is you plunge the lance into the shadow creature, and the lance, which was kind of like, as you were getting ready to brandish it, like began to kind of like have like a glow to it, right? It was glowing with the power of the sun. You plunged it into the shadow creature, and the shadow creature let out like a deathly wail, but and dissipated, but also snuffed out the light of the lance. You may have to do something special to sort of like re-energize it. So,
cool.
But the creature is otherwise gone. And Irina, she's there breathing heavily. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was saying those terrible things. She gets up. Ivor, you're okay now too. And you too, Mad Mary. Mad Mary, you can kind of come out of it. With the -1 forward as well, though, Mad Mary. She comes out of it and she says, I don't know what's going on, but I have to go speak to Count Strahd. I just have to believe he'll listen to reason. I don't know what's going on, but surely he is a reasonable man. I will find him. And she just kind of stumbles off. No longer frightened of Count Strahd.
I try to kind of catch her by the shoulders gently. And just, Irina, you don't remember what he did to you, do you?
What he did to me? Why would he do anything to me? I mean, I think this is all just some misunderstanding. I mean, my father had a terrible heart condition, and noises at night. He was he'd be frightened of things. Nothing. All of this is going to be straightened out. I just know it. My father was a faithful servant of Count Strahd. Oh, you're muted, Richard.
Sorry. We should come with you. We should come with you.
A reminder. Bump, 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 bump in the tower just ahead. Bump, 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 bump.
Is she leading us towards this heartbeat?
She's not. She's heading off a different direction.
Okay. I'm gonna look at the party. I mean, the heart is this way. She wants to go down in that direction. Irina, do you know where Strahd is?
Well, I don't know exactly where he is, but I suppose if I call out, I can find a servant or something to take me, I'm sure.
Well, why don't you come with us, and the first servant we find, we will be sure to ask them where Strahd is, but for the time being, you may as well go with us in this direction, you're just as likely to find a servant there.
All right. Yes. All right. Very well. After you.
Heading towards the heart beat.
Yeah. Indeed, indeed. I have some text to read to you here. As soon as I find it. Where are you at? Here we are. Okay. So I just have to read the notes real quick. Okay. All right. This is some Dark Souls shit right here. All right. So, as you step onto the huge staircase, a reddish light flares to life high overhead, settling into a dull, pulsing red glow. You now see the full immensity of this tower. The spiral staircase circles up the tower's full height of 240 feet. At the domed pinnacle of the hollow tower, a pulsing red glass heart beats with light. The 10-foot wide stairs that circle up the tower and end at a door far overhead. The hollow tower is about 60 feet in diameter at its base, narrowing toward the top. Fallen boulders and arrows are strewn across the floor. So, so you've got this like narrow, somewhat narrow 10-foot wide thing, but it goes all the way up, circles up the interior of the tower. Okay, the interior of the tower is otherwise totally open. Okay, and you see the big red glass heart up at the top of the tower, pulsing, beating, right? And what do you do?
Mary, Ivor, any ideas here? What it is, what we can do about it? I mean, Polly, could we just hoist you up there and you cut it free?
I mean, it's like 240 feet up.
Right.
So you'll be going up a ways until you get to the top, but yeah.
Kind of feel like
Are we at the bottom?
Closer look at it.
You are on a, there's like, it goes down as well. Yeah, there's like a little bit that goes down as well.
You said something about stones and arrows. They're down in the center as if they've been like shot out of the walls.
Possibly
fallen,
also strewn on the stairs as well. Yeah.
So as if this either been a battle here or this whole thing has got some sort of rock trap.
I've like started walking up the stairs, and when you say rock trap, I'm like, I freeze before I step on the next step.
I don't see any other way.
Sounds like your department, Polly.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking. Polly's looking up. Is there any other way up other than the stairs? And I look over at Ivor. Dare I mention magic to get up there, Ivor?
Not that would not be more risky than simply lowering us to the top of the stairs would accomplish.
Yes. Okay.
There are reasons magicians use stairs.
Does anyone have rope?
I do not anymore.
I think I still have some left. Yeah.
I think I have
All right.
40 feet.
If you let me, I'll tie myself onto one end of the rope. If you hold on to the other, I'll go ahead up the stairs and check for any steps that look like they might have pressure plates on them. And also looking in the walls to see if I can see where arrows might have come out of. So I'll carefully lead the party. I'll go 40 feet or 30 feet ahead of you.
Yeah, roll plus wisdom.
Eight.
The stairs will be safe. You'll be able to go up the stairs. You can gradually go up, and you're not going to mind anything. So.
All right. So we get up to the top. There's a door. At that point, do we have a better view of the heart?
Well, so you're going up. Let's talk about the trip up. So you're going up. You are checking for things. You get up to about, let's say, halfway up this excursion up the tower, right? And at that point, you see you see this big glass heart up there, right? And then something comes out from above the heart. It is 10 long halberds, big polearm weapons. They're floating and they're circling around the glass heart, almost like a halo. They're circling around the glass heart. But you can continue up.
I'll look back to make sure everyone else has seen that and continue up.
I won't miss it, yeah. And then you get to where you were below the heart, right? It's maybe, it's maybe I would say maybe 20 feet above you, right? At the top narrow portion of the tower, right? And you're all there. The halberds are circling around the heart, kind of in a protective way. What's your guys' first move here? What do you do?
Well, there's a door, right?
Yeah, there is a door, and the door is actually you would actually boost yourself up a ledge past the heart to get to the door. So.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Well, we could try and shoot it with an arrow, I suppose. See if it bleeds. Are we close enough that I might be able to determine if it's a demon that's grown into this role as the heart of the castle or something like that?
Yeah, maybe. Go ahead and do 2 plus wisdom.
It's 5.
How are you conducting your investigation here? What does it look like?
I think part of it involves listening to the sounds that we can now hear reverberating through the walls. I'm sure it's much more intense now than it was down 100 feet below. And also getting as close as I feel I can safely get to the heart and trying to see details.
And one of the halberds like swoops down out of this circular formation and flies right at you. It has like, it's a blade, but there's also like a hook part. It like flies down and like hooks your clothing and like basically drags you off the steps to like the middle. Stosh, I think you're nearby. You're closest as you see it grabbing Mad Mary off the steps. What do you do?
Do I have time to try and grab her?
Sure. Yeah. Give me a.
Yeah.
I think you can see it coming. Just give me a strength roll to see if you can pull her back.
Okay. 9.
9. You are going to be able to pull Mad Mary back. Another one of the halberds comes down to engage you while you're doing that. It will. One of you guys can try to intercept it, but basically it's coming right at Stosh. Stosh, you're pulling Mad Mary back. That halberd like lets go and it's there with you, and another one is flying down. Kurash, there's another halberd flying down at Stosh. What do you do?
I'm going to step in the way and swing at it with my sword to just knock it, beat it off course.
Off its trajectory or whatever, yeah. Do plus strength.
That's 8.
Nice. That will work. I need to check and see how many there are. There are... Sorrow, Tower. Okay. There are 6 of these halberds. So you knock that one away easy. It goes spinning, flying, and clanging down the wall and down below. And immediately another one just flies in to engage you. You're down to what? 3, 1 down and 2 there with you. Ivor, what do you do?
This is the time for just grabbing things and knocking them together. So as 2 more halberds come in, I try to just do that. I just try to like wait till they get close, kind of lunge forward, grab them, and try to smash them into each other to break.
Nice. Okay, good. I like that. Roll plus strength.
That is a 14. If only
nice.
I could do that with magic.
Yeah, that's good. You'll knock out. I like 2 halberds flying down. You'll smash them together. I'll give you a bonus too. What do you want for your bonus?
How many are left, or how many are around that are not?
After this, there'll be 3 left.
I think maybe I can hurl one of the heads into one of the ones that's left, kind of damaging that one.
Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. So maybe there's just like 2 left now,
okay.
Right? So there's 2 left. Polly, there's one that is engaging Kurash pretty aggressively. Kurash is like, it was kind of knocked the other one away, and this one's coming down at him. What do you do?
I'm going to try to grab it. I have a feeling that it might be a ghost or something holding it. So I want to actually try to hold the thing myself and struggle. I don't know if the blade itself is animated or if there's something that's holding it, and I want to find out the answer.
Okay, roll plus strength. See if you can keep going.
What is my strength? Okay, brilliant. A5.
Polly inexplicably grabs onto the handle of one of them.
Little Polly.
Yeah. It races. It like just jerks out into the open with Polly holding on to it. Polly is suspended in the middle of open space. No grabbing him, Stosh, or anybody else. Mad Mary, you've just been pulled up or pulled to safety, and you see Polly there hanging, like in the middle of open space. What do you think? Or anybody, if anybody has any ideas here.
I mean, didn't Polly have a rope tied to his waist?
Yep.
He did, yeah.
Where's the other end of that rope? Maybe it
Someone
got
was
dropped
holding
in
it.
confusion.
They might have dropped it.
Maybe one of you guys, somebody's got to be holding it. I mean, maybe who was it anchored to? We never really decided. Whoever wants to be that person can go ahead and just say they were that person.
I mean, it was Mary's rope.
Yeah, maybe it was me, but I dropped it when I get pulled off into nothingness myself. Yeah, I'll just try and pick up the rope and like see if I can grab onto something and brace myself and try and pull him back.
Yeah, roll plus strength. I feel like this is going to go south really fast.
Well, it's 5 on the dice. Do I have any strength? I do have some strength. 7.
Oh, nice. Lucky you. Sure. You do manage to pull. You brace yourself as you've described. You do pull Polly away, or you pull him back. I think in the doing though, like as you are pulling Polly back, the halberd meets you halfway and just like flies really fast at you, and just sticks you hard, right in the shoulder and chest area for a D8 damage.
Is it D8?
D8.
That's 8 damage, which is 6 damage through my armor, and I have 5 hit points.
We shall see if you survive. The second and last one flies down. Stosh, what do you do?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna swing try and hit it with my sword.
Nice. Give me a strength roll.
10.
Nice. You'll be able to bat away. Just describe that, what it looks like. Like give me the whole scene as you bat it away.
It's kind of just coming straight at me, and I'm holding out the sword, and as it gets close, I just kind of swat it away, just like real hard into the wall.
Nice. There's still one there, Kurash. The one that just stabbed Mad Mary.
Before it can fly away, or I'm taking advantage of the fact that it's kind of stuck in her. I'm gonna grab it and try and break its haft over my knee.
Nice. Give me a strength roll.
That's an 11.
Nice. That works, just as you've described. And the heart is there, above you, beating.
Is Mary like too far gone?
We're about to find out.
Okay.
Mary, you ready for a D6 roll?
I am ready.
All right.
It's a 1.
It's a 1.
What an ill-fated family.
It's a very ill-fated family. I'm going to let you continue the adventure, but you will be dead by the end.
Okay.
Sorry, Mary.
Mary is there on the ground, bleeding really badly. Right? She's got the holy symbol of Ravenkind around her neck. She's there. She's bleeding. The heart is above you. Irina, it cries out, she's like, I don't know what's going on, but this, I have a feeling that Count Strahd is not here. And then you all hear a voice echoing, a cackling laughter coming up the tower. But what if I am here? And you will will see Count Strahd slowly rising up, floating up the tower. And he says, I can't say that I understand it. It was here long before me. Castle Ravenloft called to me like it has called to so many people. I am but its servant. And you are just another victim. And he kind of like rises up. He stretches his hand out to Irina and says, Tatiana, I'm so glad you have decided to join me after all of these years. And he's floating out, like, away from you guys a little bit. And he outstretches his hand. And he clearly has, like, you can see his eyes glowing like bright white. And he's looking at Irina and he says, Tatiana, take a step. Come to me. It's all right. You won't fall. She's clearly under some kind of mesmerism. Whoever wants to act on that. If she takes a step, it sure looks like she's going to fall.
I'll dive for her and try to prevent her from stepping into empty space or getting closer to Strahd.
So you just grab her?
I just grab her.
Yeah, give me a dexterity roll. See if you can grab her quick enough.
Check dex. Yay. All right. That's a 7.
Very good. You grab her, and she's about to step. Like she takes like a single step, like moving off, like into dead space. And you can grab her, you can pull her back. That's all great. And when that happens, Strahd, like you pull her back, and Strahd like looks at you and says, you don't think that I would hurt the woman I love, the woman I have waited 400 years to return to me? You fancy yourself some kind of hero. How much of a hero are you? Huh? Are you willing to face me? And he floats a little closer. And he spreads his arms out to you. His cape is billowing. And he says, you get one shot, hero. What do you do, Ivor? You're muted.
How close is he?
He's like arm's length.
I have her in one hand, and so I just lunge forward with my dagger and try to stab him in the heart.
Roll plus strength.
Yeah. That is a 10.
Nice. Yeah, you stick him. How much damage do you do?
4.
4. You stick him. He kind of like hisses and kind of like floats back and says, it would seem I underestimated you. And then he's still floating there in the middle. And he says, I do hope that you don't come to regret this situation. Like your friend there, talking about Mad Mary, who's bleeding out. And he raises up his arms, and you hear from down below, from the tower, just a terrible cacophonous, a cacophony of bats just like swelling up from the bottom of the tower. You can see them. They're like racing up toward you all. I'm just going to go around the table and find out what you do. Starting with Stash.
I think I'm worried a little bit about this lance that I found. So I need to do something to kind of recharge it.
Yeah, we haven't really taken the time to do that yet. So
okay. I mean, I have something in mind. I don't know if now's appropriate.
What was your thinking?
So yeah, I guess there's a ritual, like a winter solstice ritual that they perform every year, and it involves like slaying a bull at dawn, just kind of like, and the blood is meant to incentivize the sun to come back. So, I mean, kind of riffing on that, Stash is he's thinking of using his own blood, spreading it on the lance, in an attempt to do something similar.
I'm into that. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Kurash, what are you doing? You hear this swarm of bats, thick, powerful cyclone of bats coming up the tower.
I'm gonna fall back so my back is up against a wall and bring my shield up to protect myself.
Nice. Just brace yourself.
Yep.
Good. What about you, Ivor?
I am trying to pull Irina down, kind of get close to the stairs for a little bit of cover, while also sort of fishing for my next to last dose of Quicksilver.
Okay. Polly, what about you?
During this whole conversation with Strahd, this was Polly's opportunity to sneak off. Strahd was distracted. So he's trying to get up that ledge to that door.
Okay, yeah, sure. That'll actually put you really close to the heart too. So you'll be on the ledge right by the heart, right? The heart is like the size of like a, it's pretty big. It's like, the size of like a table, but it's right up there, So I like that. That sounds good. And Mary, what about you? You can still do things even though you're not long for the world.
Yeah, I think
go out like a boss.
I'm sort of dragging myself slowly back towards the wall, and I guess I'll try and use the holy symbol to see if it can disrupt whatever. See if turning him will disrupt whatever he's doing to summon the bats.
I like that. Let's have that first. What do you say? What do you do?
I say, I may be dying, creature, but with every breath I have remaining, I will spit in your face.
Nice.
In the name of my God.
You hold the holy symbol aloft and roll plus wisdom. The holy symbol gives you a +1 on that roll.
That's 10.
Nice. Yeah, it's going to disrupt this magic. What does it look like when you disrupt this magic? These summoning these bats.
I think it's like a pulse that comes out from the medallion, and when it touches him, he sort of staggers momentarily and he loses his concentration. And the bats are still down there, but they suddenly become disorganized. They're not like cycloning up towards us anymore. They're just sort of confused as to what they're doing.
Concentrated. They're just kind of like dispersing.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good. He says, "It would seem I underestimated all of you." Stash, Count Strahd, he sees you there bracing behind your shield. You're doing your thing. And he knows your name. I'm sorry, I meant Kurash, not Stash. Sorry, Stash. Kurash. He knows your name. He says, Kurash. I have so many beautiful treasures to show you. He's definitely trying to get inside your head right now. He's whispering these things. He says, you don't know them. They mean nothing to you. Roll plus con.
That's an 11.
Nice. You resist it. How do you resist it? What do you say? What do you do?
So I can feel this creeping magic
Mhm.
in my brain. Thinking I really don't know these people. Like I just met them 6
Right.
hours ago or something.
Right. Yeah.
But then I think through all the times that they've saved me, or I've saved them, or all the fights that we've had together in that short span of time, and I'm able to just these people are worth fighting for, unlike some of my other compatriots in the past.
Yeah. Nice. Let's see how your little ritual goes, Stash, with the spilling your blood on the lance. Well, plus wisdom.
Okay. So it's an 9 for wisdom.
9.
Yeah.
That's gonna work. What does it look like when you spill your blood? What does it look like? Like, give me the whole little scene here.
Yeah, so I just kind of grasp the lance in my right hand, maybe halfway up, so I can maneuver it around to my left arm, and I just kind of it's kind of sloppy. I just like shove it in on the inside of the elbow towards the wrist, and just blood just like starts to pour out, just like coating the lance, and just ruining my left arm.
Nice. So you slashed up your arm pretty badly here.
Yeah.
I like that, and I think the lance is fine. The lance is there's a glow. It's definitely filled with this power. Strahd, like at the sight of all this blood, he like opens his mouth. He's just like, and basically, he just begins drawing your blood out of your body from that wound.
Ugh.
Like it's just like a spray, like a font of blood out of your body, just like into his mouth, like an arc. Just Ivor, what do you do? He's gonna drain Stash out quick if you don't act.
I have to summon Skara and have her strike him with lightning.
Okay, nice.
All right.
Pop in your Quicksilver.
Oh yeah, and that is finally a 13.
Nice. Very good. You'll be able to stop him from. Normally, I would give you a choice, like damage him or stop the magic he's doing on Stash. But since you got the bonus, I'll let you do both. So,
Right.
So both will work. Go ahead and roll. Are there damages listed for the magic? I guess there's not. Is there?
It's usually 2d6, 3d6.
Okay. Oh yeah,
more appropriate.
Yeah. Go ahead and just do that then, and then and also it'll disrupt this blood magic he's doing.
So that was only 5.
Okay.
Damage.
Just give me the scene. What does it look like?
Stash starts to like lose blood, and there's this spray of blood, and all of a sudden I douse the Quicksilver in my eyes, sort of roll back in my head. And I, somewhere in my head, I slowly perform the ritual to summon Skara, and I tell her and I whisper out loud, "Take your revenge on Strahd," and she does.
Nice. And there's a blast, and he kind of like, I think it kind of sends him like kind of reeling down a little bit. He's still floating, but he kind of like see him kind of spin with his cape, right? Like kind of spiraling down a little bit. And he's down, you see him down there, maybe about 30, 40 feet below. And he kind of like whips his head back up, and he just like just relentlessly flies back up at you guys. But this time he's got like anger. He's like vicious anger on the mind right now. You're up there, Polly. What do you intend to damage the heart with? You don't have anything.
Well, so can I get onto the heart? Can I climb onto it or jump onto it?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So, and there's a door that I'm at, right?
Yeah.
I would really quickly take the rope, the end of the rope, tie it to like the doorknob, and then I'm going to leap from the landing onto the heart.
Okay.
So I'm on top of it. It's suspended by like, I don't know, like arteries going into the ceiling or something like that.
Yeah, I guess right? So. Yeah.
and I don't know what to do, but I do have these ghost killing arrows. Is this heart? Is it actually like, now that I'm touching it, is it like, diamond or glass or something
it's
like
like
that?
a thick red glass. Yeah.
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take all 4 arrows in my 2 hands, and I'm going to say like a breaking word that the witch used, and smash the heads of the 4 arrows all at once into the top of this this heart, hoping that somehow it's got ghostly essence that will be damaged by this. I have no idea.
Yeah, that has nothing. You just
Okay.
smash your arrows out.
I tried.
Dosh, he's in position. He has nothing to strike the heart with.
Yeah, maybe I'll toss him the lance then.
All right. I think tossing the lance is step 1. Polly, give me a dexterity roll, see if you can catch it.
All right. Here we go. I guess it rolled the same number that was showing before. So that's 4 plus my dexterity, which is 2, is 6.
All right. You toss the lance. The lance is flying up toward Polly. We see it on camera. Heroic toss, lance flying up. Polly reaching out to grab it, desperately trying to grab it. And Strahd just intercepts that pass, just grabs it, and he's got it in his hands. And it's clearly very uncomfortable for him. Like his hair like flies up on end. He goes even more pale, like almost like translucent in the light. And he's got it in his hands, and he just says, "Silly, silly man. The darkness cannot be defeated by these trinkets." And then there's just a explosion of crystal shards flying all over the fucking place. And as the pieces of your lance trickle down to the bottom of the tower. Now, I'm going to take my lady love, and you all are going to go back to whatever hole you crawled out of. Give her to me.
I've got a silver stake. I'm above him. I'm tied to the door. I'm jumping off. I'm going to try to stake him in midair.
Roll plus dexterity. I love this drama, but we'll see how it goes.
Oh, yeah, that'd be 6.
He just whips around, catches you, just sinks his mouth into your throat. There is just a rip and a tear and a spew of blood, and he just drops you, and you go like a pendulum on the rope. Just I make my offer one more time. Give her to me. And he's looking at you, Korosh. You don't owe these people anything.
And I'm gonna look at him and then look back over at Irina and then start walking to Irina and grab her. And then as and bring her around as if I'm about to give her to him, but then I'm going to pull out my sword and hold it to her throat.
Oh, nice. Nice. I love it. It goes just like that. Like it's just as you described it, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is basically go aggro, right?
Right.
Roll plus charisma. I think the stakes here are just that, like, maybe he just stops you, right? Like maybe at the end of all things. So.
Oh, and I roll snake eyes, so that's a total of 4.
Yeah. Let me check how much damage Strahd does. 1 second. This is going south really quickly. Strahd. I know he's the first thing. Yep, there he is. Oh, he actually doesn't do that much damage just with a regular old hit. I think he just he kind of just like lightning quick, like grabs the knife, flicks it away, and just like cracks you, backhands you, and you just go kind of slamming up against the wall. He does a d6 plus 4. Which, if you roll 6, it could, well, but even with armor, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I have 3 armor. I rolled a 1 actually, so
okay, he just knocks you. He just bats you away, and then he grabs Irina. He just like grabs her and pulls her. He's got her, and she's screaming. She's flailing around. Mad Mary, what do? You're down there bleeding out, but you still got a little bit of energy.
Energy, sure. Resources, I'm not sure. Let me propose this. Let me propose that at some point in the past, perhaps when we were in the what was her name? Madame whatever's camp.
Madame Ava's.
I told Irina that we might have one. If Strahd defeats us, she would have the last chance to actually kill him, and to keep her stake, because she took one of the stakes.
She does have a silver stake. That's right. Yeah.
To keep it hidden until the last moment.
Yeah.
And I'll yell out to her, Irina, now in his moment of victory.
Roll plus intelligence for quick thinking.
Ooh. That's a 12.
Nice. She'll take Strahd out. Describe it.
So he's holding her and holding her very gently, like holding her out and looking at her and sort of like crowing in his victory. Right. And then he turns to look at us to I don't know, say some witty gloat. That's the word I was looking for. He turns to us to gloat. Right. And Irina reaches beneath her collar and pulls out the silver stake that she had hidden underneath her arm. And as he can feel her moving, and as his head turns, she just stabs it right into his chest.
Nice.
And I don't know what it looks like when he dies, but
I think he's just gonna fall with Irina. They just go falling down, down, down into the rubble below. Polly, give me the D6 roll to see if you survived.
I got a 5.
Okay. You're going to survive. If we were continuing to play, you'd have a little negative bonus, but since we're done, then you don't have to worry about it. But I would like to know, just like, how do you guys save Polly? Because Polly's basically hanging, bleeding out the neck, like up against the stone. Like, who applies the pressure here?
I mean, if
Stosh is also bleeding out. Everyone's a lot of bleeding going on.
so, does the stairway go up to the landing where the doorway is?
Yeah, like it's like right below the landing, right?
Okay, so I'm gonna run up, and as I'm running past Stosh, I drop a healing potion for him, and then get up, grab the rope, pull up Polly, and feed him the final healing potion.
Nice, perfect. Let's go ahead and just go to epilogue. You can epilogue as far in advance in time as you wish. If you're a character who's not surviving this, you can epilogue you can narrate your death or something you do right before you die. That's perfectly fine. These characters can come back. If you get into another one of my Wodu games in the future, they can totally come back. So that's, fine. If you don't want to like epilogue too far in the future. But otherwise, just take a minute to think about it, and then whoever wants to go first, just tell us your epilogue.
I think I've got mine.
Go for it.
So Polly ends up spending time with the what were they called, the Vestati camp that we passed down there, and learning the ways of, after all, these are his people. He just doesn't know anything about them. And he ends up having adventures with them and with other tribes, and eventually he does become an important leader in the tribes, and unites a few of the different tribes.
Nice.
Fulfilling his prophecy.
Very good. Cool. Who wants to go next?
Oh, and the witch is perpetually his arch nemesis.
Oh yeah.
Never gets over that.
Yeah. I could see a future mission where he goes to try to get that doll, right? Yeah.
I can go next. So I more or less succeeded in my goal. And when I leave the castle and get back to the village, carrying Irina's body and Strahd's body as proof, I proudly proclaim that my mission was successful and tell everyone that listens about the deal with the Burgomaster and how I am entitled to that money.
Right, yeah.
And I think this is finally, I finally made my nut. Like this is what I wanted, and I'm tired of this, this life. And well, there's now an opening in the Burgomaster.
Nice.
And I have the money that a Burgomaster would have, so I am perfect for that. And so I think, at least for the time being, I become the Burgomaster of Barovia.
Fantastic. Right.
I've got one.
Right.
So it's not going to be Mad Mary, but rather Gertruda.
Okay, cool.
It's nighttime. She's on like in a grassy corner of a graveyard, and she's just finished burying Mad Mary and Goro. And it's come time to put the headstones in place. They're just sort of simple crosses. And so she picks them up, she stabs them into the ground, and as she steps away, you can see her hand sort of sizzling a little bit as she lets go of the crosses.
Oh, nice. Nice. I love it. It's good. All right. Who's next?
I think I'll go. So I think Stosh, he gathers up some of the shards of the lance, and he kind of puts them in a sack. And I don't have much of an epilogue other than that, just maybe a couple quick scenes. Like one, he's in the same graveyard where Goro and Mad Mary are buried. And he kind of, reaches into this sack of shards and just like presses one shard into the earth over each grave. And just kind of spends some time there just quietly. And then later on, we're not sure how long, you just kind of see Stosh walking somewhere out of Barovia, and he's missing his left hand. Yeah, it's amputated somewhere.
Nice. That leaves you, Ivor.
So I think Ivor does not leave Castle Ravenloft immediately. He's spend a day or so outside, going repeatedly back into the crypts to remove the golden spikes from the hearts of people that Strahd has trapped.
Nice.
Eventually releasing his own demons.
Nice. All right. Well, that was Ravenloft. We got the abbreviated version of the castle, but that was kind of necessary to stick the landing. We can just debrief now rather than go over to Discord. It was really fun. I was really happy with, from the GM's perspective, I was super happy with pretty much up until this session, we followed the module really closely. The little detour with the vampire house, that little like vampire horror house, that session, that was not in the module, but it was definitely in the spirit of the module because like there were vampire attacks that could happen, right? So it was just a sort of, the way I packaged it was more of kind of like a horror movie thing, but it was the same idea. But otherwise, like everything, I mean, most of it was like the module, like every little thing. So I was really happy that like that worked pretty well. It's the first time I've really used World of Dungeons to follow a module closely. I usually like take it and just do whatever the fuck I want to do with it. Like I just grab the parts I want and then just dish the rest of it, But this one, it was really nice to like actually go through it. And it helped that I actually really like this module. This is like, this really holds up. Like we're talking about it on Fear of Black Dragon in a couple weeks, but basically, like Tom and I both agreed that this module it's super sturdy. Like it's really good still, which is great. Like it's a fun read. So. But and I thought you all did wonderful. It was great fun. I loved all the characters, and even the ones that didn't last very long. I loved all of them too. But so those are my thoughts.
I thoroughly enjoyed both of my dramatic deaths in this series. So
yeah, I thought that they were good, solid deaths. Gore, and it was all well. And what I liked about your deaths was like, I mean, like they all kind of tied to each other, right? Because it was like, well, Goro died like saving, Madberry, and then Madberry dies, and then Gertruda comes and memorializes them both. So
right,
kind of worked out. But, and that was actually the Gertruda Madberry thing was a subplot in the module, right? Like that was a story in the module, so that was kind of cool too.
I had a great time, and this is the first time I think I played World of Dungeons, and I can't really imagine playing this as a straight D&D thing. World of Dungeons gives us so much more freedom to make stuff up, and it's just a lot more fun.
Yeah, it's got like a I mean, like I'll be the first to say that like there's some people who would probably find the swinginess like not super satisfying because it's like I'm super successful or I'm dead. Like I think some people would probably not love that, but from my vantage point, I'm kind of with you. I like the drama, right? Like I like the drama that the system enforces, right? Like to me, I'm less interested in like the statistical likelihood of being able to survive thing X than I am like the cool drama. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I would think if we played this in whatever it was like AD&D, it would have been much more of a grind. And way less drama.
You'd still be back at the carriage for one thing. Like,
yeah.
Well, maybe, I don't know. I mean, like we definitely detoured a lot, so I don't know. Like it could have, I don't know. The module actually doesn't want you to spend much time in the village. Like it anticipates that you're going to just like go to the village, buy your shit, go grab Irina, and then go to the castle. Like there's no, there's no like it doesn't intend for you to stay there very long. But so I don't know. Yeah.
I really liked all the time we spent in the village. I mean, it may have felt like a long time, but it was so essential and important. It was really exciting.
Yeah, I liked it too. We could have spent the whole time in the village, and I'd been cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, like if you guys had never gone to the castle, I'd been totally cool with that. So,
but it really set up the drama for getting to the castle.
Yeah, it was fun. I wish we'd had like. I honestly wish we'd had like. I wish this was like maybe going to be like one more series of 5 because I actually wanted to like develop a lot of it more and do more of the castle stuff. You know, it occurred to me that like I kind of got why they eventually made Ravenloft into its own setting in 2E because you actually want to know like you want to know about the stuff outside of the castle too. You know, like there's so many interesting things going on outside the castle as well, and so that's just kind of hinted at in the module. So
I mean, I've always been a huge Ravenloft fan. I've read almost all the supplement stuff. Like I've read this adventure,
Right,
all that.
yeah.
The one thing that I was disappointed in is that we didn't get the tarot reading.
Yeah. I actually that came up on Fear of Black Dragon, and we talked about the tarot reading thing, and I actually had a thing planned for that.
Right.
That was so the tarot reading, the way it works is you actually do the tarot reading like out of character. Like you have like the before the module starts tarot reading, right? Where you like do a little thing and then that affects things and you actually pretend like you're doing it at the table. And then you can have the tarot reading again with Madame Ava, and that changes it up a little bit. I decided, for one thing, the tarot reading, practically speaking, the tarot reading didn't have like a lot of it had like a lot of like D&D-ness to it, and so there wasn't a lot I could do with it like mechanically, you know, which is part of the reason why I skipped it. But also my intention was to do a version of the tarot reading with Madame Ava. It was modified for World of Dungeons. It's in my notes. It's modified for World of Dungeons, and it was supposed to give the flavor of the tarot reading without actually doing the tarot reading, right? Also, the fact that we're online, it loses some of its salience because we're not going to hear with, you know, we can't like do cards with each other and stuff, right? But it is a very cool part of the module though. Like it was Tom's favorite part of the module. He was like, I love the tarot thing. Like, yeah, it's super neat. But yeah, it just didn't quite feel right for how I wanted to do it. But,
well, and fictionally, I mean, it completely made sense for us to skip it. It's just like that was such an iconic thing in the module that it's like
it's a huge deal in the module. Yeah. It's a big part of the module. It kind of like sets up the adventure. It kind of makes it to where the adventure is kind of personalized a little bit, you know. But yeah.
But I did really enjoy that with the love letter this session, we were able to kind of at least catch glimpses of the areas of the castle that we missed previously.
Yeah. That was my hope. I was like, well, let's show a little bit of the castle. All that stuff was stuff that happened in the castle, right? Like,
cool.
There was a shadow demon in the offices of the larder of Il Omen, and there are zombies down in the crypts. There are a couple of the quest items. The chapel that is a result that can happen on the tarot card reading. Like the quest items can be in the chapel, so all that stuff was kind of like, you know, the spirit of it, so, for sure. Cool. Well, I don't have anything else myself. Just to say that I had a great time. I'm a little disappointed that like the vicissitudes of World of Dungeons forced us to lose Derek's first character, who I thought was super interesting. I mean, Kurash ended up being great too, but I really loved your first character concept, and I hated that he died so fast because I wanted to see more of that character concept. But well, whatever. Them's the dice. The Goro thing wasn't as painful because you basically just did Lady Goro, so
right.
it wasn't like super like it wasn't as like, you know, disruptive. I felt like
a little crazier.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed that too. If we'd had more time to actually do role play scenes, it would have been. I enjoyed when you were doing those. Like,
and you know, scenes. I actually really liked how the flags worked out with that, and also in this session in general. Like in the earlier sessions, we had a lot of sort of deliberate flag scenes, and by the last session, it was feeling pretty natural. Like we had people hit a number of flags without anybody asking for.
Yeah, we need to do XP actually. That's actually a good reminder. Let's just do our XP real fast. So that's on the table, so we have it. Because you can use these characters again. I run Wodu all the freaking time. So, but everybody will get. There was no treasure XP, but you're going to get 750 adventure XP. And then if you hit any flags, you get the normal 10% situation. So I didn't do treasure XP for the two treasures on the love letter because like they were love letter treasures. It didn't feel quite the same to me. That was a novel thing that I did, though. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but I've never heard of a strung together love letter used to abstract out a dungeon crawl. So I was definitely trying a new thing. I wrote those love letters in about 10 minutes. I probably could have done better if I hadn't had the idea so late, but I had the idea like literally like an hour before we started. So it's like I was like, oh, I've got an idea. So,
you could almost mash that up with like cheat your own adventure to create like, oh, let's go through, whatever classic like Ravenloft using cheat your own adventure and just like these really quick.
It could be fun. Yeah. Especially like if everybody had the module and you just like kind of read it like, oh, you turn here and there's a big, there's a vampire bride. Yeah. There's a ghost who's actually that ghost thing wasn't in the module either. I made that up there too. You know why? Because the wedding cake was such a great detail, and then there was nothing in that room but that dilapidated wedding cake. I was like, come on. So of course there's got to be a ghost bride.
That was actually my favorite scene.
That was a great scene. I love that scene. It was really fun. Yeah. It was really enjoyable. That was probably my second. I think my three favorite scenes in the whole series were I loved the whole sequence in the vampire house. I loved that. I thought that was so fun. And then I liked the Count Strahd fight there at the end. And then I liked the Ghost Bride. Like, those are my three favorite things for sure. So, also honorable mention to the first fucked up spell that ignited Barovia.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic.
That was pretty good too. But, yeah, we had some good moments. Do you guys have your XP all sorted out?
I think so.
You know what? Something that happened tonight that I really enjoyed. It was just kind of, I don't know, broke a little bit of maybe tension, but just whenever Richard, you said I interpose myself between Korash and the accountant. It was just ridiculous, and I wasn't expecting to hear something like that tonight, but it really did it for me.
You got to watch out for bounty hunters and accountants. It's really, really dangerous.
That was a good line. It's pretty funny. Love it. Cool. All right. Well, you guys just note your XP down. Go on the honor system on flags if you think you had a flag, and then just if you get into another one of my World of Dungeons games and you want to develop those characters more, you are welcome to play them. We'll figure out how you got away from Barovia, and otherwise it was fantastic. I'm gonna head out though.